The Rise of Africa, the continent, the diaspora, and BRICS explores the relationships that are affecting the global economy right now. This book explores the relationships of the African diaspora's influence on the African continent and why this is important in stabilizing relationships with an understanding of how BRICS impacts the future, good or bad. You can order your copy of The Rise of Africa today on Amazon.com. Neodiplomacy is the new currency. Neodiplomacy is the new currency. The reason that I can say that is you have a couple of different factors occurring right now as we speak on the world stage. The dollar is being disrupted. Nations are no longer wanting to engage with the United States. But the third factor that affects each and every one of us is that there is a diaspora from the African continent that's willing and able to engage our brothers and sisters on the continent.
Hey, monkey boy, this time I can prove the Israelites weren't black using ChatGPT. Ha!
So that's what we're doing now? Using AI?
What was that? I couldn't hear you over that smoke alarm chirp you people can't hear. Say that again?
Hilarious and original.
Hilarious and original. Hilarious and original. Hilarious and original.
I said, is that what we're doing now? Using AI to prove who the Israelites are?
That's exactly what we're doing, and I'll show you, boy.
Oh, brother.
2 hours later.
Your room still stinks.
Look at how easily ChatGPT debunks everything you chimps have to say. Ha! You was not kings, and you was not Israelites.
If we're going to use AI, then let's at least use an AI that's trained on the Bible without the Masoretic mistranslations or any agendas and actually tells us the truth.
Liar, there's no such thing.
I'll show you. Let's use Israelite Bot. Go to IsraeliteBot.com and ask the same thing.
Fine, but I bet it'll say the same thing as ChatGPT. No! No!
You see? I told you.
No!
And it shows biblical proof.
No! This is preposterous. I hate this website. It's all wrong.
Stop crying.
Your website sucks.
Shalom, Salama, Siemi, Shalom. Greetings to all my Israelite brothers and sisters from around the world, whether you're of the bloodline of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, the house of Israel, or you're a Gentile grafted into the house under the blood of Yahusha HaMashiach. I welcome you this morning. Excuse me. This morning I got a few things to cover. I apologize for being late. I was trying my best to get on a little bit earlier. Wednesdays, again, Wednesday nights. I had a better night's sleep than the night before. That was for sure. But you know, when you're doing a lot, when you're engaging a lot, you don't realize just how much your body hurts until that very next day because you're going through some things all day, every day. I didn't even get a chance to do what I was supposed to do. And I'm just like, all right, well, I'm going to have to try to hurry up and do that this morning. Didn't get that done either. But you know what? The Most High is still good. But there was a conversation I had yesterday when I explained to people what goes on in the background and why things go on in the background, because we're in dangerous territory. Don't get it twisted. When we're going through literally an active martial law situation, don't get it twisted. I want to come here. I think this is from some sort of like a Substack. From a Ken Klippenstein. Military preparing attacks on Mexican cartels. Secret order targets cartels as new terrorists. And this is Northern Command with the general there, the commander. And it says here the Trump administration has directed the military to prepare for lethal strikes against cartel targets inside Mexico, 3 military sources tell us. The top secret planning order issued in late spring directs Northern Command to manage the attacks, which are to be ready by mid-September. Though U.S.-Mexico military relations are broad and cooperative, any military action south of the border is considered extremely sensitive for both Washington and Mexican federal government and is rarely discussed in public. Not only is Donald Trump uniquely focused on transnational criminal organizations, the official name for cartels, having designated them terrorists in one of his first executive orders, but he has shown himself to be willing to take unilateral action despite potential negative political ramifications. Now, I want you all to understand something, because there is a leap to this thing here that a lot of folks may kind of sweep under the rug, under the table. If you're not paying attention to the language is powerful, and it is how, honestly, that's spelling. This is spelling out what they're trying to say, how they're trying to say, how they're trying to do, how they're trying to manage us. You better understand everything that they try in the world stage is something that directly manages us. Now, I want you to think about this. I've seen some videos on YouTube recently that as we are looking at what is happening on us, I want you to understand that something was going on in the background because it has gone on in the background for a couple years. Now, I'm going to put this tie in here because you have to understand how things work in the arena of messaging. And don't think that that messaging was just something that was done just a few months ago. This has been in works for years. However, we don't know that it's a planning cycle of years and then things finally get enacted. Now you're seeing the actions coming. I want to show your attention to this. This is from a Benny Thompson. This is Mississippi's 2nd District, Congressman Benny Thompson. And in his, it looks like some type of call to action, African Americans call to action. This is what he posted in his media, April 30th. And he puts this: Trump's attacks on MS-02. But he was talking about the DEI programs being attacked. And then he comes down and he's talking about Trump's messaging and actions. And he gives some bullet points. And then finally in 2020, he says here, after the murder of George Floyd, he called Black Lives Matter protesters, here we go, quote, and I want to highlight here, thugs and terrorists. Thugs and terrorists. I don't know what they're saying. This is just news to me. The whole DC thing, it's going to die down. No, it's not. That's the new program because people are being programmed. Hey, we're showing you what's happened over in Gaza. We're showing you what's happened over in this middle, or excuse me, Eastern Mediterranean nation. We're showing you how you're not allowed to criticize because we're showing you what's next. I'm back. I done kicked myself out my own live stream. Understand that the terrorist mandate for black people that speaks up and against wickedness, it is. Vanity, it is. White supremacy, it is. Understand what they're trying to do and how they're trying to create the sentiment. That's what they're doing. They're creating a sentiment, a feeling, a construct, not against themselves. Look, they already know the KKK has been the biggest terrorist organization ever. But no, we're not going to talk about them. We're going to talk about what they want to talk about. Because understand, they know they have a visual problem. It is the time of the end. And as I said it, there's a couple of ends that's in mind, couple of endings that's taken place that people are now trying to really understand, because it's not just the end of our captivity. Understand it's the end of their livelihood, the end of their world order, the end of their vanity. That's all it simply is. The end of their vain imagination. We've said this. The word has said it. We've gone over plenty of scriptures. Because this vain imagination is now being played out on the world stage. And what they're trying to do to keep on to that construct is that they're simply hurting themselves in the process. It's a mockery of how they're hurting themselves. It's a mockery of how much you see hypocrisy in action. Again, it's not about we're the here's the reality. As I continue to say, and I've expressed this, we're not the audience here. Even though these things are happening to us, we're not the audience here. We are showing the nations this is what you have had for generations. And now that judgment is coming. And now that judgment is here. And now it's beyond their control. Now, what they're trying to do, they're trying to keep everything within their control, but they know that it's out of control for them. They cannot control the situation anymore, not as much as they wanted to, not as much as they tried to. Try, and what? And try some more. That's not necessarily the case anymore. The dust yourself off and pick yourself up by the bootstraps, especially for them, is no longer the case. Look at their economy and look at how many people are visiting just the United States in general. Nobody wants to come here. I'm on the phone call yesterday with an insurance company because I'm trying to shop around for insurance to make sure that as I begin my travels back and forth to the continent, that there are protections that are afforded, services that can be provided via insurance just in case I happen to be detained or really what it is, disappeared. Yes, I know that I need to go forward over to the continent to get things done, but I also understand that's a real threat that's looming. Could they detain me and could they say because I speak up, never made not one threat against this country? Don't need to. That's not my purview. My purview is to speak peace and truth to the neighbors. Now, Are they threatened by truth? Absolutely they are. They let you know that every day. I tell you again, this channel is not radicalized. Oh, it's a no. We're just giving commentary of what they're doing to collapse their system. That's all. And now everybody can see it. And now there's a lot more people that have a lot more colorful commentary than I do. But again, I understand who I am. I understand that I am a quote unquote so-called black man here in the United States. I understand. That's the risk that I take. I understand what it can mean to be pulled to a back room and to have TSA and ICE and Border Patrol agents checking out paperwork. I understand that. I haven't been questioned just doing my job back when I was in the military. Even with all the clearances, I get it. I understand there. Or understand that I've been there. I've done that. Now it's a bit different. We're in a different regime. We're actually in a different season. And the funny thing is that every time you tell them the truth, we're always militant. You're right, Brother Sean. We're always militant for telling them the truth. And then when they see it happening, then they can't say anything. Are we militant? I didn't do anything. I didn't say anything. We did not do any. Look, you already know that they're going to try to set us up for some sort of false flag operations because why? Because the war's on us. Understand the planning. Understand how they're mobilizing. Okay, well, we got to get them here. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. We're going to create this narrative. We got Taiwan. We got Russia. We got Iran. We've got South America. Literally, that's what they're trying to go towards in South America. Venezuela. They have so many theaters of war going on. What does that remind you of? That is reminiscent of every single characteristic of a not just nation, but of an empire that's getting ready to fall. We're so great, we're so bigly, we're so this, we're so that. You get stretched thin. I wanted to show something. There was a clip from Judge Napolitano that I was watching the other day. It was just very, very telling. I'll see if I can find it. Because then I can at least, I'll share it with you, but I'll at least be able to paraphrase it. I believe the channel was Glenn Deason. And Judge Napolitano was on there. He was a Fox News analyst. Let's see if I could actually find it. But he said something very, very telling. He said, the collapse, and it's funny because this is something that literally Yakoba has shared years ago. I'm gonna put this video link in there so you all are able to see that. Actually, let me see if I can play it because I want you to hear this from the, as Brother Dante would say, the medicine. I want the bottle. All right. Give me a second. Oh my goodness. Okay. I've been having some problems today. All right. Let me see if I can do this and let me share this.
Los Angeles and New York City. The courts don't enforce the Constitution as it was written. The military-industrial complex and the Zionist lobby have ironclad grips on the Congress. So the military-industrial complex still is the beneficiary of now $1 trillion annual budget, which of course is absurd. That's more than the next 10 countries combined, which includes Russia and China, of course. The absence of constitutional norms, all these things, and debt, all these things are going to bring down the American government, probably debt before the others.
So you predict the collapse of the American government within the foreseeable future?
The collapse of the federal government and the United States breaking off into, I don't know how many, a dozen or so smaller republics.
So the breakup of the United States as well?
Yes. Yes, because it won't be able to pay its bills. It won't be able to pay its salary. No one will want to work for it. No one will lend money to it. People to whom it owes money will be out of luck. It'd be like suing the Confederacy after the Civil War because you made them a loan. The federal courts wouldn't even hear the suits.
So,
Los Angeles and New York City. $1 annual budget, which of course is absurd. That's more than the next 10 countries combined, which includes Russia and China, of course. The absence.
All right. I want to make sure you all are able to listen to this. I know sometimes YouTube will, will do some crazy stuff. Listen to this. I want you all to listen. Please listen again because this is coming from them.
Of constitutional norms, all these things, and debt, all these things are going to bring down the American government, probably debt before the others.
So you predict the collapse of the American government within the foreseeable future?
The collapse of the federal government and the United States breaking off into, I don't know how many, a dozen or so smaller republics.
So the breakup of the United States as well?
Yes. Yes, because it won't be able to pay its bills. It won't be able to pay its salary. No one will want to work for it. No one will lend money to it. People to whom it owes money will be out of luck. It'd be like suing the Confederacy after the Civil War because you made them a loan. The federal courts wouldn't even hear the suits.
But we're called crazy. But we're called crazy. Wait a second. What does the word say? What does the word say? What does Jeremiah 50 and 51 say? We're seeing this going down because why? Because debt, they can't sustain it. The question I have, and that I always have, is that when they start saying things like this, my question is, what's the time frame? 12 to 18 months? 18 to 24 months? What's the time frame? A couple of months ago, I brought this on up. New Hampshire said that when, not if, but when the U.S. government, the U.S. federal government hits $40 trillion in debt, that they are planning a vote to succeed. Is it that they're planning a vote to secede from the nation, or is it that that's the tipping point into where liquidation starts? That is a recognition of bankruptcy, and then in that bankruptcy of a literal corporation, which is the United States, that is the action. That's the trigger event. And then the question is, how will that action be enacted? Let's just have AI do a simple search. When will the US hit 40 trillion in debt? Let me share this. This is thanks to the robot. This is what the robot says. AI overview. This is what the robot says. Based on current projections, the U.S. national debt is expected to reach 40 trillion within the next few years. Here's a breakdown of the time frame. Some sources suggest the debt could hit 40 trillion by the end of 2025. Other reports indicate a projection of reaching 40 trillion by 2026. Some estimations suggest it will reach 40 trillion by 2031. The Committee for a Responsible Federal Budget estimates that under current laws, debt held by public, excluding the intragovernmental holdings, will exceed 40 trillion by the end of fiscal year 2027. That debt is actually rising. By the end of this year, we'll probably be hitting at least 38, well over 38 trillion, if not more. Because remember, they're about to do what? They're about to do a rate cut. So when you cut rates, guess what? Debt goes up more. So they're about to balloon the debt even more. What does that mean? That means a lot of our people are going to start losing jobs. That means that as our people are losing jobs, the vulnerability and the targeting is going to be on our people. Remember, it's now illegal to be homeless. It's now illegal to be sleeping in your cars. Remember the war on homelessness that's literally being fought right now, which is the cover for martial law. And now, guess what? Now you're going to have a lot of subjects to see how will graphene interact with melanin. They got to perfect the market of beast technology, especially on us. That barrier can prove to be very pesky for us Hebrews to assimilate into this next system, this next world order. Because why? Because with debt, all hands, all feet. What could that be? This place is going to get balkanized. Get ready for different passports. Get ready for, because here's the thing. Once a place gets balkanized, things don't move. You're stuck. Yes, they are, Ivan. That was the setup. Thank you. Absolutely. That was the setup. Get yourself an RV, van living. Yeah. Free. Be free. And yeah, you're the first ones that's going to be targeted while they impound your mobile home. Yep. Van life is done. I always knew that that was kind of the setup. Look, whenever they pushed something, look, I turned my van into this and that. Whenever they try to glamorize something, they try to make sure that they push that algorithm. Oh, yeah, I could just do that. And yeah, that setup is coming. And you know what? A lot of our people were running into that setup. I have news for you. How the Most High is setting us up. And he's doing so in an awesome manner. He has given us the opportunity to work with our brothers and sisters on the continent. He has given us an opportunity to build with our brothers and sisters on the continent. While this place is losing jobs, I'm in the background figuring out how to do job creation, how to make sure that I can post those jobs, those opportunities, making sure that we have safeguards so we don't have people coming through and trying to destroy things. That's what our people do. It's unfortunate, but that's how it happens. It's the amount of self-hate. Look, that's what we deal with. Sorry, it's a curse. Because there are many projects that they want us to engage in. And it's the projects to heal. To come together and to heal. How awesome is that? How awesome would that be for our vulnerable young men and young women that's living on the streets? to be able to work, to be able to build, to be able to set up, to showcase their skills and their talents that many of us are not able to do in this society. So when people say, oh, Brother Karras is asking for funds, I am. I am. Because why? Because that is what they are trying to do, because those funds create the jobs, the opportunities. They help to develop. Resource management, resource control. If you don't know what I'm talking about, I go into depth with my book that I published last year, this time. And now, with how simple the Most High did things, that's the reality. It wasn't just writing the book, it was actually seeing the opportunity that was being presented to us. Because it was showing us what he was doing. My book it's okay. It wasn't going to be a Pulitzer Prize winner, not at the least. But it creates the opportunity to show what the thought process is. And guess what? People like it. They enjoy it. They understand it. And they've given me the opportunity. I didn't really want to write the book last year, but I was told, nope, Brother Karras, you got to write the book. And then the Ruach put it on my heart to get that book written in less than 2 weeks. It was 2 weeks. And now, 2 weeks and less than a year later, opportunities are coming. Opportunities aren't just coming, they're already here. And now we are developing them at the high level. And then we're able to build. I have a different understanding. I know people, we got to build, we got to build homes. That's not me. I've already stated that. That's not me. You want to find somewhere to build a home, you can go to other places. That's not me. Because I've already stated critical infrastructure and economic development. You can build as much as you want, but guess what? If you don't have the infrastructure, all you're doing is you're not managing the resources. You're not. And then you're not creating opportunity because you have to have economic inflows and outflows. We have a workforce that's now willing and able. Because why? It's better now than the alternative of going to jail or being placed in a mental institute. Because why? Because the society broke us? Have you all thought about that? The society broke us so much that we don't care. Don't you care about the nation? No. Sorry, we just don't. Okay, time to put you all in jail. You can see that was literally their response. You don't want to play this game anymore? Okay, well, we're going to open up mental hospitals. We're going to start to put you away in insane asylums. We're going to start opening up insane asylums for who? For black people. We're going to start putting you away. And oh, and by the way, we can now experiment on you because now we're going to go back to the 30s, 40s, and 50s and 60s. That's never going to happen until it's happening. The laws are already on the books. The executive orders are already on out there. I gave you Judge Napolitano earlier. What Constitution? It's my constitutional rights. What constitutional rights? I'll take a risk. I told you I take a risk every single time I talk to you all. But I know what the Most High is doing, and it is awesome. Why not? Why not tell our people what the Most High is doing? I have to catch myself because a lot of what I'm doing is under NDA. Because if people understood, they would want to derail. Oh, that's what they're doing. Time to sabotage it. Been there, done that. Now we're not going to do it anymore. Now we become smarter because we had to do what? We had to grow. We had to learn. All skin folk ain't kinfolk. We had to learn this. The more I did in the background and just shut up, the more doors that the Most High literally opened. All right, thank you, Father. I'm ready. Thank you, Father, because I wasn't screaming it to the rooftops. Sometimes you give your testimony when the Most High tells you it's time to give your testimony. You're going to give your testimony to some people, not all. Some areas, not all. Some spaces, not all. We're not here for YouTube valuetainment. I told you that. I told you that on this channel a couple of months ago. You're going to have to make a choice. Well, I'm just here because, Brother Carrots had some good jokes and, he has some fun things. But now, I'm hearing some rumblings at the job that the third quarter isn't shaping up the way that it needs to, and that may have some issues. See, it doesn't count for anybody until they get affected. And guess what? Everybody's going to get affected. Sorry. Sorry you're getting shaken out of Babylon. I'm sorry. I told people when they have to wake up, it's going to be violent. Did I not say that? I thought I said it. I said when people are forced to wake up, it's going to be violent. It's going to be extreme. And we're going to be in times where it's going to be dangerous. No, everything's going to look good. I'm on schedule for my Christmas bonus. Do you know they're not even going to talk about a Christmas bonus this year? People are going to be happy that they just have a job. Because why? Who are they targeting? Remember, they told you, hey, you don't have to worry about no discrimination. We're going to fire you first. They were setting up the frame. They were getting everything set up, and people weren't seeing the setup. And we saw the setup, and we said, okay, when this thing sets up, a lot of our people are going to be hurting, and a lot of our people are going to be humiliated. Because it's a hurt. It's an embarrassment. I thought things were going to turn around. I thought that my arm, Babylon's arm, was going to protect. But it actually broke. And now I'm broke with Babylon's broken arm. Oh boy. I'm broke and we're broke. And you're broke and we're broke together. I'm broke and you're broke and we're broke forever. Just singing a song of being broke. Except they'll be singing a song of being broke in their homes when they get that little stim check. Making TikTok videos of them stimulus checks while they're running up trillions of dollars, hitting. Look, they're not going to go over 40 trillion. They're going to go to like 50 trillion with them stim checks, some stimuluses. They'll have TikTok videos. You know what you're going to have? You're going to be in detention. How come they got a stimulus check? Well, you know what? We couldn't find you. You didn't have an address on file. That thing came back, and I'm sorry. One day our people will see it. One day. And if our people don't see it, then, man, they're set for slaughter. I don't know what to tell you. This is for our people that see, that understand, and that pray for the Most High to give them wisdom during this time. I can't give you wisdom. The only thing I can do is tell you what's happening. It's up to you to accept it or not. That's it. That's all I can do. I am not able to be a black Rambo. I'm not here to be a black Superman. I'm sorry. I'm just not. I'm not equipped for that. I'm here to speak truth and peace. And guess what? That's up to you. I pray the Most High the next couple of weeks that we start to get things together. There's some people at some very, very high places and spaces that's why I'm calling for a fast on Monday. I will be fasting sun up to sundown. The Most High has blessed our people in some tremendous spaces. Maybe for a time like this. Look how the Most High works to bring everything together. But with that being said, family, I need to get up on out of here. Get to my grind while my hustle's still there. Because look, I don't take that for granted. I know at any time I could be, hey, first one hired is what? First one fired. That's just how it goes. But I thank the Most High for what I'm doing and how he's doing things in the background. Look, I already told you, I'm not depending on this job. It's for a season. You want to know what I'm learning? I'm learning how to do education. Because why? Because that's one of the tenets of critical infrastructure and economic development. Medical. Well, we're working on that. Education. Well, that's the next one. Technology. Well, that's the next one after that. I kind of already got the technology piece and the innovation piece. I just need to fill that in with the education piece and the medical piece. There's a lot of things that's going on in the background. And a lot of things that will not be revealed until the Most High says it's time to be revealed. But isn't that always how the Most High works? It is. So don't think that things aren't working. They'll tell you this, trust the process. I tell you this, please trust the process. It's not my process. Trust me, it's not my process. It's definitely his process, because even with the amount of things that he has allowed for me to see, I still get befuddled. Like, wow, that's definitely you, Father, because I could not have seen that a couple months ago. I couldn't see what he was doing last year, but he put on our hearts to get things done. And now we're seeing it, and now we're doing it. That's why I say, family, please support the mission. Support the mission. That's at q2a.org. Support that mission. Because that's the work with the container, and that's a big one. You can support this channel. I have the link right here. That's also a big one. A voice does matter, because why? When they take that voice away, guess what? It is what it is. But I thank the Most High that I'm able to talk and do in this season. I know the season. I believe that this season's about to come to an end. Not just for me, but for a lot of different channels. But when it does come to the end, guess what? May the Most High's will be done. May the Most High have a door to be open in the time that it needs to be opened. Because that's how the Most High operates. So with that said, family, Most High will not be on tomorrow, Q2A. We have some news to cover because Chad is getting ready to join AES. That's a big one. We were talking about that for well over a year, and now it seems as though it's actually getting ready to happen. So that's a very big one. With that said, family, be blessed, stay encouraged, and please stay aware. And if you don't know how to stay aware, please ask the Holy Spirit, the Ruach HaKodesh, to lead you and guide you in everything that you do, so he can help you when something doesn't seem right. Trust me, I know. I have to do that all the time with those kids. For real. For real. All right, family. Y'all be blessed. Shalom.